My passion for empowering women began with my mother, Laurentia Labi. Despite so many obstacles, my mother had a dream of completing her education. Unlike here in America, where families live on their farms, in Africa, usually our farms are located so far away from our home by foot, and you must travel by foot because the paths leading to the farm are so narrow, no vehicle can use them. My mother would wake up every day at 4 a.m. She would do this to help her parents feed the family and raise money for her education. After putting on her school uniform, my mother would walk 1 hour to the farm. After working for several hours, she would walk upwards of 2 hours with her mother to the market. There, they would sell our farm produce and sometimes banana leaves. My mother did this every day. Only then did she depart for school. Unfortunately, some days it took hours before she and grandma could sell anything. Often by the time they would make sales, morning classes had already ended. Sometimes they did not sell anything until midday. When this happens, it was too late for her to go to school. She was the youngest in her family. Her brother and sisters have found this schedule impossible to maintain. She had worked so hard to finish school. But just like her siblings, eventually reality hit her. She realized it was literally and physically impossible to follow the daily routine and achieve her academic success. With no other option, she had to marry and start a family, just like generations of women before her. While she was being educated, my mother had a dream. She had dreamt of becoming a lawyer and later a legislator who served her nation. But with no support financially and unable to achieve an education, my mother had to give up on her dream. My mother was 17 years old when she got married. No one should give up her dream at 17 years old. I guess you won't. My mother was determined to give me and my sisters the opportunities she didn't have. And she did. She didn't always have the money to put us in school, but despite the fact that she didn't finish school, she remembered everything she learned. When we couldn't afford school, she used her knowledge to homeschool us. I believe my mother was an exceptional woman. But in terms of what she did with the education she had, she was not atypical. In my country, if you educate a father, he's expected to take his education from the home to the workplace to raise money for her family. A woman's role is to stay home with her children. When mothers are educated, they keep their education in the home and use it to educate their children. If you educate a woman, you educate her children and to some extent her community. A nation of educated women is an educated nation. I am lucky because out of 80% of women farmers with children in the 1990s, I am one of the lucky ones to obtain a higher education. I obtained my higher education in economics and information studies. My mother had worked so hard to give me the opportunities to stand on this platform before you today. This is why I work so hard to help other women. My mother's unwavering dedication to educate me drives my passion. Today, I educate women. I work with women farmers so that they can farm successfully and more easier using modern agricultural biotechnology. I do this because I believe if you educate a man, you educate an individual. But if you educate a woman, you educate an entire nation. Our male counterparts also do have challenges, yet the current system advantages men. Men hand their farms to their sons from generation to generation. Therefore, only less than 20% of agricultural land is owned by women farmers. Because men own their land, they have the collateral to secure loans to buy machinery, which helps them to scale up their farming. Meanwhile, so many women are still farming with hoes and cutlasses. Research has shown that 70% of the food produce found on the continent is produced by women. And yet, 5 million people die of hunger every year. 5 million people. To be able to feed the continent with the expected population increase by 1 billion, things must change. Women must have the tools they need to farm more efficiently. Maximizing output on every inch of farmland. Strong policies must be put in place. The only way to bridge the vast gap of inequity is to empower women. Women farmers must be empowered equally. In order to increase yields and achieve sustainable growth, women must be educated about agricultural biotechnology and access to other breakthrough technology. Only then will women become more productive, independent, and financially stable. Families with educated women are empowered to provide for themselves. Unlike my mother, these families can realize their dreams. There is no reason we cannot empower the women of Africa to empower themselves. We can, and when this day comes, all of us sitting here today will be proud to say, we educated women, we educated an entire nation, and the world is a better place to be. Thank you.